Hey there, happy Monday, Diamonds in the Making. My name is Jake Hoffman. I'm one of the field development advisors here at Corporate, and I just want to take a little bit of time to jump on the team page and just share a couple of things that I've really seen work well across the board for a lot of different teams over probably the last 6 to 8 months. So for those of you who aren't necessarily aware of this, just recently I was assigned as the coach over Arkansas again. I was the coach for I think like 3 years over Arkansas. Then they switched the regions around for a little bit and I lost Arkansas for a few months. And then just recently, a couple months ago, they gave me Arkansas back. So I was really, really excited. I just started to work with Tamara and a bunch of these other leaders again. So I felt like this would be a perfect time with the new year, right after Super Saturday, for me to just jump on the team page and share a little bit of things that I've really seen work over the last 6 months and kind of explain, I think, why those have been working and just share some of the excitement with you guys. So I'm just going to rewind here just a little bit to kind of share how this came about. So I would say probably around this time last year in 2019, I was talking a lot about Moneyball, right? And for those of you who don't know what this is a book that was written about baseball, and it's also a movie, and it's about baseball. But it's very, very applicable to the Plexus business. And so essentially what it is back in the 1990s, there were a bunch of baseball teams that were trying to figure out how to essentially make more money, right? And the way that you make more money in baseball is you get people to buy more tickets to the games and you sell more merchandise, which the only way to do that is you got to win games so that people want to show up and watch you and buy your stuff, right? So, and then back then, there were supercomputers, and so a lot of the data and analytics in baseball were really starting to just come about. And so the Oakland A's actually revolutionized baseball with what they found inside of the analytics. And essentially what they found was that they needed to get rid of all of their home run hitters and only keep the people that were getting on first base a lot, which didn't necessarily make sense because you're like, but a home run puts a run on the board and runs win games, right? But what they found was that over a long season, because in baseball they play 162 games, and you usually get up to bat probably 4 to 5 times a night, right? So if you're doing that math, you can easily see where, man, like 800 to 900 times you're up to bat throughout a season. And if you really just look at all the statistics, like even the best home run hitters ever were only hitting 40 or 50 home runs in a season. So what does that mean? That means the other, 800 times that they were up at bat, they weren't getting a run. So they had to look and see what would happen. And oftentimes they were striking out, right? So essentially what they realized was that over a large sample size, the teams that were getting on first base the most were the teams that were also winning the championships, right? So anyways, this changed baseball. And I think this is very applicable to the Plexus business because I think so often when I hear Ambassador, I've gotten to do this now for 4 years, fortunately, where I've gotten this bird's eye view over everyone's business, and I've gotten to see how these businesses come about, right? And what kind of creates them and how they were formed over time. And then you get to also not only see the numbers, but you get to get on the phones with the people that are building the business and kind of hear from them too, right? And so what's super interesting is that when you see all the numbers, it all shows that systems are important and that it's really about a lot of people doing a little bit. That's what creates an emerald or a diamond business. But then when you get on the phones and you talk to somebody, and it doesn't matter what the rank is. It can be a gold, it could be a diamond. A lot of times they're telling you about that next runner or who they're trying to get as that next runner. And so there's always just kind of been that little frustration there for me. But over this last, couple of weeks, I had a lot of time off during the holidays, and I had a friend come over, and he loves the products, right? He's been on them for probably around 8 or 9 months. He played football with me. He's down like 30 or 40 pounds on it, and he loves it, right? So he was talking all about about looking at the business, which first off, he thought that Slim and Active were the same products, just different flavors. So he should probably do a little bit more research before he jumps into the business, right? But anyways, I was like, no, dude, they're totally different products. But point being is that he was interested in doing the business because he's like, hey, like they're really helping with my sugar cravings. I'm down some weight. I'm loving this. So, and obviously a lot of his good friends work here at Corporate, right? So me being one of them. And so, so he was like showing me this really influential person that he's got on Instagram, right? And he's like, man, if I could just get, his name was Pac. He's like, man, if I could just get Pac on the products, man, I feel like this would take off for me. And I got frustrated with him. I was like, Paris, that's really not the way this works. I was like, that can happen. You can get lucky. You can sign a couple of really influential people and they can run with this. But that's truly not the way I can't help you do that. Like, there's no formula, there's no strategy to help make that happen. But there is a formula and a strategy to get to Emerald or Diamond without that, and it's just through creating systems and processes that help the masses see some results and help them share with a few friends. So that's really what I wanted to share with you all. But I realized when I was reflecting on that Moneyball conversation that number one, it wasn't the most impactful because it didn't necessarily change the behavior. And then number two, when I'm like, hey, do you remember that Moneyball talk that we had? No one remembers it. So I'm like, okay, clearly wasn't that effective. So I've had to try to figure out a different way to try to get this point across. So what I've done instead is I have just printed out a Diamond Ambassadors business, and I've blocked off all the names so you'll never know whose Diamond business this is. But I've essentially printed it out to show you how it's built so that I can try to prove this thing to you here on a live. So up here, you're gonna see this is the name of the leader. I blocked off the names. And then this over here is how many active level 1s each leader has. And at the very bottom, you'll see that there are a total of 1,561 people that are ordering in this organization. And this is just so you know, this is a Diamond with a re-entry business. So she's got over 6,000 points. So this isn't just a 4,500 point, business either. Like, this is truly a 6,000 point Diamond business. So I wasn't just, the reason for sharing that is I'm not just picking like the easiest example of this, right? This is a 6,000 point business or beyond. But what I want you to see here is, so there's a total of 1,561 people that are ordering, right? And there are a total of 577 people that have at least one active level 1. But what's important to look at is I want you to see how many people have 20 or more. And this is in order, right? So the number one recruiter or the number one person on this Diamonds team has 30 active level 1s. That's a lot, right? That's really awesome. Really good job there. Number two's got 25. But what's important to see here is there's only 6 names of people that have 20 or more active level 1s. And what's even more eye-opening, and where's the number here? I'll prove it to you. If you were to look at name 148 right here, it shifts from, at 147, they've got 3 active level 1s, and at name 148, they've got 2. And if you were to follow from name 148 all the way down to name 577 right here, they all have 2 or 1 active level 1s. The reason I share this is I think so often we'll look at an Emerald business or a Diamond business and we'll think, well, they just have so many more runners, or they're just way better recruiters. That's not always the case. In fact, it's very rarely the case. It's usually the fact that they've got a system in place that helps them have way more people with 1 or 2 active level 1s. And they've got a system in place that helps the masses get to silver. I'm not saying they always maintain silver, because I'm sure you would agree. I'm sure the 20 people watching this live right now, and for those of you watching the recording later, I'm sure you would agree that not every silver is truly working the business, right? And going silver and working the business are not the same thing, right? Not every silver is out there marketing and advertising Plexus. Not every silver is out there meeting new people. Not every silver is trying to get their friends to share with others, right? And that to me is truly working the business. But the reason this is important is if number one, if you are not super savvy with social media, if you're not super extroverted, if you're not the best recruiter in the world, I hope that this shows you that if you do a great job of sharing the products with people, helping them get results and helping them share with others, you can absolutely get to Emerald or Diamond. I know Diamonds with literally only 12 active level 1s. Okay, I just share that with you. That's not super common, but I share that with you to know that there's a path out there that is doable for this. Hopefully this encourages you as a path to be able to get there. But anyways, I want to share that because I think a lot of times we're always out there focused on either just trying to sell to a lot of people or just trying to find a couple highly influential people that can do this as well. When if you truly just create the system, it'll help you do this. So now let's shift over to the system, right? What is this? How do we make this happen? So I would say that, and I'm sure you've heard a lot about systems over the last year, right? About a year ago, you really heard us really push silvers down your throat, but then we realized that, hey, corporate never necessarily provided a system in place to help you guys create those silvers, right? So you know the systems, you know that silvers are important, but getting them was easier said than done, right? So we've really spent the last year or so determining how can we, from corporate, provide systems for the field. And so what we decided to do is we decided to look across the board of what was working the best. And I'm not super fixated on just one system. There's a couple, I mean, there's plenty out there. There's launch events that work really well. There's trial groups. That's the one I'm the biggest fan of that I'm going to present here. There's plenty of sip and see options. There's all kinds of different ways and different systems that you can have. But I think the number one common denominator is you need a system. So as far as what systems work the best, I'm a fan of the 3-day trials. And you saw corporate launch those at Leaders Retreat because the field was having a lot of success with them. We're not here to reinvent the wheel. We're just here to support what's already working. So essentially what teams are doing is, well, first off, I think the products included are very nice, right? The fact that you're getting Active, Lean, and MetaBurn. So those are 3 products that help you get quick results and or you like the taste pretty quick, right? Which is key. Slim by itself, I don't know that was super effective. So I just say this because if you've tried trial groups in the past, like 7-day trials in the past, and didn't have a ton of success with them, I'd really invite you to try this again, because I also think that having products that give you quick results and or that taste good are really key to making this effective, right? And so is the send, share, and invite system, because I think that makes perfect sense, right? Send them a video, share a testimony or an experience, and then invite them to do something. But I think you consistently need something going on to invite them to do. Otherwise, that doesn't exactly work, right? So, anyways, these 3-day trials, right? What they're doing is they're usually just running one every single week, like Monday through Wednesday or Wednesday through Friday. And all it is it's just 3 days of trying the products where you put some, high level information of how the products work, how to take them and stuff like that in the trial group, right? And at the end of it, we just try to get some of them to sign up. And then the next week, the goal is to introduce more people to that trial group. But we also want to get the people that just signed up, that had good success, to introduce their own friends to the trial group, right? And the reason that this works so well is, keep in mind, how do I want to say this? So this is not going to help all of you on this call right now recruit more people. You are already great recruiters, most of you. Like I see the stats, right? I can see it. I know that many of you are really, really good at enrolling. The challenge is that we got to get those people that come in to duplicate and go silver, right? Like wholesale customer is not the finished product here, right? Like going silver, running with the business is hopefully what you're looking for as the finished product here. So, having said that, I just want you to know that the hardest part about these trial groups is getting the buy-in from all the other leaders on the team that are recruiting, because this won't help you recruit more people. This is going to help the people that you recruit duplicate. So for example, if I'm a brand new ambassador, like let's say Tamara and I were talking a couple weeks ago, and she's like, hey Jake, we were chatting a few weeks ago before New Year's, and you had expressed to me that you were looking to lose a little bit of weight. And I think that this company that I'm affiliated with called Plexus has some amazing products, and I think that they would really help you reach your goal, and I think that you'd have a ton of success if you were to try them. Now, if you were to really commit to Plexus, I'd want to make sure that you were willing to give it, at least 60 to 90 days. And I know that, that's easier said than done to do, right? You can't always commit to 60 or 90 days or put aside, $240 or $340 to just plan like that. But would you be open to just, joining a little 3-day trial where you can try, 4 of our more popular selling products just to see if this is a good fit for you? And if it is, then we can make arrangements after that to try to get you signed up and enrolled and get you on a great regimen here. So for me, this is a much easier step, right? Tamara's not asking me to commit to 60 or 90 days. She's not asking me to spend $140 or $240 just to see if I like the products. I won't have to put my social security number in just to try the products too, which is, I think, a nice win. So for me as a new person, this is an easy step, right? So now when you put me in this group, there's going to be some awesome content shared for a few days. Hopefully she'll build up the value of not just, Active and MetaBurn and Lean, but also Triplex, right? Because that's still our, core foundation right there is gut health. So she'll build up the value in all these products, right? So hopefully now I'm a little bit more inclined to get one of those $199 packs, right? Or at the very least sign up. I'm going to use the perfect world scenario here. Keep in mind, this isn't going to happen like this every single time, but I think it's important to just talk through this, right? So let's say Tamara gets me on one of those $199 packs because she shared all about how awesome Active and MetaBurn and Lean are for helping me lose weight, but also how, important it is to correct my gut imbalances and to control my sugar cravings, right? If I really want to keep the weight off. So, she can explain all this to me. So I'm bought in. I'm like, cool, get me one of those packs. I want the value. I want the savings. I'm in. So now I've got one of these $199 packs, which makes me which makes me eligible to Fast Start. Okay, which all the Fast Start is if you can get 3 people to get the same $199 welcome pack you got within the first 14 days, you make $420. So on paper, this sounds pretty nice, right? Like, you're gonna more than make your money back. You spent $240 on, the welcome pack and, your membership. But if you can make $420, you make that money back, plus more. Not to mention, you're selling 3 $199 packs, so if you think about that, that's $600 a product that you're selling. You're gonna make $420 back. That's well over 50% commissions. So like on paper, this all looks really, really good. So what do I have to do to make this happen, Tamara? Well, if she tells me I've got to go make a Facebook post, just recognize what she's doing to me here. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with making a Facebook post, but just note that if that's the main system that you're using to get people their products paid for, just know what you're gonna do to them. Because let's just talk about this really quick. Sorry, I didn't script this out, by the way. I like just going live and just going off the cuff, so I hope you guys are cool with this. But if we're gonna create a system, I think it's also important that we reverse engineer some of the common objections that people have, right? So I think I'm just gonna say these things out loud and hopefully you agree with these, but I think that the reason that 99% of the people stop ordering their products has to do with the cost, right? It's because they struggle to be able to stay consistent or be able to afford the products every month. And even if they told you that it was because they were looking to lose weight or whatever and they didn't, that to me is still the cost, because they don't hate the products themselves. They just can't justify spending that money for it when they haven't seen results. But if you were willing to give them the products for free, they would probably still take it, right? So the point there is that if you can get everyone's products paid for, you'll have a 99% retention rate, if not more. So then the next question is, do people want their products paid for? The answer is yes, because again, if you were willing to pay for them, they'd probably take you up on it. So then we've got to ask, okay, well then what do you have to do to get your products paid for? And all you got to do is share, right? So we've got to ask the question, well, do people inherently have a problem sharing things? And I think the answer is no, right? We share our favorite things on social media all day long. So why would someone not want to share about Plexus if they know that the products are good for them, and if they've seen if they like them, or B, know that someone else has had great success on them, why would they not want to share them? The only answer I can come up with is that they are afraid or concerned that someone is going to judge them for doing a network marketing company, right? Or the fear of failure or something. But point is, it's usually someone else judging them that they've got an issue with, right? So the only reason I say that is that if the main method you're using to help them get silver or get their products paid for is to have them make a Facebook post, just know what you're doing to them. You're asking them to open the floodgates to their whole network, judging them, and I can totally see where a lot of people will say no to that and not want to do that. But if you just turn to me and you're like, hey, Jake, we've actually got this 3-day group. It runs every Monday through Friday. Now that you've signed up, you actually have one of these sampling links. If you've got anyone that might be interested in trying the products, all you got to do is share the sampling link with them. They can order the same sample and trial that you ordered and see if it's a good fit for them. And then if it is, we can get them signed up. But if not, no worries. Well, this is a much easier step for me if I'm that new person, right? Because I'm brand new. I don't necessarily know how all the products work yet. So asking my friend to spend $140 or $240, okay, I probably am going to have to learn why this is a good fit for you if I'm going to ask you to spend that much before you've ever tried them. Number 2, I didn't necessarily do this to work a business, right? And if I'm marketing and advertising on Facebook, that feels like I'm working a business. I don't know about that, right? Next, I'm gonna have to ask you to commit to a long period of time and or sign up for a network marketing company, which is usually the scary concern anyways, right? So there are a lot of things that this bypasses, right? And it also allows my upline to still kind of be the expert here while I'm still learning how all the products work, right? So anyways, hopefully you're seeing where there's value in this. And if this is happening every single week, well, now all of a sudden this can snowball pretty quick, right? So anyways, again, this is the perfect world scenario, but I add my 3 friends to the group. They like how they feel. They sign up. I've now fast started silver. This is where Tamara can come to me and say, hey, Jake, you made that look pretty simple. Are you sure you haven't thought about doing this as a business? And hopefully I'm a little bit more interested, right? Because I've made money. I've got a title, which doesn't always matter, but I know some people like to be able to say they've had some success before they, get going. And most importantly, I've already shared Plexus with a few friends and they liked it. So my confidence is up that, hey, if I keep sharing this with people, they might like this. Like, they're not going to hate my guts, right? In fact, they're going to love their guts, right? Funny. But anyways, So even if this doesn't work, like, so let's pretend maybe I wasn't interested in doing the business. I'm like, yeah, Tamara, you know what? I still didn't join to do a business. This isn't for me. Well, we can still go to my 3 friends and still try to get them to do the same thing. Because again, we're still trying to get everybody to go silver, whether they're here to work a business or not, because we want their products paid for, right? Whether they're here to work or not shouldn't determine whether or not we're trying to help them get their products discounted. So we still go to my 3 friends, and Tamara can say, well, hey, Jake, she could say something like, hey, Jake, did you know that the number 1 reason why people stop ordering their products is because they struggle to be able to afford them? Wasn't that nice to be able to make that $420? I mean, that's covered your first 60 days on the products between your, $240 subscription or $240 welcome pack and the $100 subscription. Like, you're still covered. You should think at least about sharing that with your friends, right? Because this group is open to everybody, right? Like, literally, you can have anyone join this, right? So all you got to do is send them the link. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I might as well at least tell them that, right? So I tell my 3 friends, and hopefully they're interested in doing this, right? And again, this isn't going to work perfectly every time, but if they do that, what I want you to think about here is if my 3 friends all go silver, I've just gone super silver. I've never once posted on Facebook. But most importantly, if Tamara comes to me now and shares the Power of 3 graphic with me, it's a whole heck of a lot more believable that I can get to Emerald or Diamond because I'm seeing the path. I'm seeing that some people can duplicate and like, holy crud, I got 50 points and I've only enrolled 3 people. That means that like 70% of my income is coming from someone that I didn't directly recruit. So now I can start to catch the vision. I think everyone has a different definition of what catching the vision means, but for me personally, heck, this is where I'd be able to catch that vision, right? Which is, I think, what you're ultimately trying to do, right? Get them to see the vision here and show them that this is worth their time and energy and effort. And again, we're not tricking anyone. We're not duping anyone. We're just trying to let them see what we've got here. But I think that if you can create a system like this, it can become very plug and play. And again, what I just shared with you, this isn't going to work perfect every single time. But what I want you to think about is the company average for silvers, and you can find this on the income disclosure statement. Go pull it up in the virtual office, and you'll see that I'm not lying. Underneath each rank where it shows how much each rank makes on average, it also shows what percentage of each, it shows what percentage of people get to each rank within the company. And so for silver, it shows like 8.96%, I think is the number, right? So let's round that up to 9%. So that means that the company average for silvers is less than 10%. So if this just works for you even 1 out of 10 times, you are beating the company average for silvers. If this happens 1 out of 5 times, you are doubling the company average for silvers. And just so you know, those are Tamara numbers, those are Jessica Heffley numbers, those are Brooke Hemingway numbers. I mean, who you want to look at? You see anybody that skyrockets through the rank or crushes every contest? What I want you to know is that the common denominator of like how quick, like what causes a business to grow so fast is their silver development rate, right? So if you can double the company average, like for Brooke Hemingway's journey to double diamond, I don't know exactly what her percentage was, but she was, probably around double the company average pretty consistently, if not for longer, right? So you will go emerald if you double, like if you've got a 20% silver rate every month, you will go emerald. It is just a math equation. We have yet to see anyone not do that. So yeah, and hopefully you're using this in the convention contest, right? We know that through the contest, I mean, it's important to make sure that we're gearing these contests to drive the perfect behavior that's also designed to help grow your business and make you more money. So you know that developing silvers is the most efficient way to grow in the contest, right? That and personal recruiting, right? So, and duplication, right? Because you're going to get, you're going to get points from multiple levels. So hopefully this is also your strategy to do well in the contest, right? Because you can get people in with just a sample, get them enrolled with that welcome pack and get those points. But yeah, I mean, long-term, this should create the retention in your business, get people duplicating. And yeah, I think that was it. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because truly when you can see it like this and you can see the proof here, I think it just shows you, the last thing I'll say is there's a shift that kind of happens, right, as you're growing your business. Like, hey, as you're going silver and super silver and gold, a lot of times you're just out there, you're recruiting those level ones. Maybe you haven't had a ton of people duplicate yet, But at a certain point, you're going to have to shift your focus to helping people duplicate and to help developing other salespeople, right? Because if you want to be diamond, you can't do it by just enrolling level ones. You know, I mean, literally, it's physically impossible. I mean, I guess it's not, but it probably is. I mean, you're not going to enroll over 1,000 level ones. So, or, 900 level ones. So you have to have that duplication to get there. But what ends up happening is there's this weird, what'll happen is people will go through this weird, I'm sure you guys I don't even know the best way to articulate this, but I guarantee you, I know that some of you watching this know what I'm talking about, where someone will come in and they're not focused on developing silvers at first. So they come in and they recruit really heavy, and then they try to develop all those people, and then they go back to recruiting heavy, and then back to duplicating those people, when it should kind of be like interwoven, right? And instead they're focusing on one and then the other, and then on one and then the other. And so, because you'll either find people that don't ever help anyone duplicate and they're only strictly selling, or you'll find people that get stuck in management mode where they've stopped doing that, when really you kind of need like a hybrid of the two. And a lot of times people don't focus on that duplication piece until they've run out of people in their warm market to talk to, because that was helping them grow at first, right? To silver and super silver and gold, you didn't necessarily have to get people to duplicate because it was working for you. But then all of a sudden you're like, well, crud, now I got to duplicate. I haven't been doing it up until this point. So anyways, that's just another little thing that I wanted to share that hopefully this will help prevent. You're kind of teaching them those great habits early on so that they don't have to go back at gold or senior gold and be like, oh, well, now I need a system to help people get to silver. Like, when really you were at gold or senior gold just because you were a really great recruiter. So now I'm ranting. So anyways, that's all I had for you guys today. I hope you all have a great Monday, a great rest of the week, and who y'all rooting for in tonight's national championship game, right? Go Tigers. Bye, everyone.